The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights made very serious charges against Syria today. In a report to the General Assembly, she said the Syrian regime is likely guilty of crimes against humanity. She wants the International Criminal Court to investigate. And she said she is appalled by the current assault against the city of Homs. Navi Pillay, the High Commissioner, joins us now live from New York. We appreciate your time here. I want to start with some of the words you used in your address: outraged and distressed. What are the most shocking cases you have found?
Firstly, let me say that I have been alerting the international community about the violations in Syria for the last 11 months. That's one of the reasons for the outrage. And second, obviously, is the escalation and the levels of violence more recently. The figures are that 25,000 people have fled Syria, 70,000 displaced, 18,000 in detention, and at my last count, 5,400 killed. In the last 10 days, since the failure of the Security Council to reach a decision on concrete action, there has been shelling, the use of heavy armor and mortar, and 300 people killed, and the majority of them have been killed by shelling. And this is why I'm outraged. I've given the General Assembly today a detailed account of the levels of torture that is going on in the detention centers, particularly rape of men and boys. The humanitarian situation is critical, where there is a shortage of food. The water tanks and water pipes have been shelled, so there's a shortage of water.
And the Syrians are saying that you're talking to the wrong people inside the country. You're not getting the true story. How do you react to that after 11 months of work?
Firstly, I have repeatedly asked the Syrian government to let me have access into the country, because the Human Rights Council in April last year asked me to prepare a report. Since then, I've been asking them for access. So has the Commission of Inquiry. The independent commissioners have not been let in. So it's true, it's not the ideal situation for us to be reporting. Nevertheless, we have our methodologies. We rather err on the caution, on the side of caution, instead of any kind of exaggerating. So we check our facts, so does the Commission of Inquiry, and both the Commission and I have come to this conclusion that there are serious crimes being committed on the scale that is widespread and systematic and could amount to crimes against humanity, and the finger of responsibility points at the highest levels.
Systematic, widespread use of torture, as you were saying, you know, these words paint a picture of a very large-scale problem. When the United Nations, like you said, fail at even passing a resolution, what realistically can the world do here?
I thought that the figures I presented to the Security Council in December, which would really shock them, it did. Every member of the Security Council condemned the violence and said it must stop. They didn't reach agreement, though, on concrete action. It was vetoed, but this morning I heard the ambassador for Russia speak in terms of seeking political solutions. So at least all the information I'm bringing to the fore is wrapping up the pressure and alerting the international community that they have to act now in order to save the lives of Syrians.
But do you feel like the information you're presenting is being taken seriously enough?
I take comfort from the fact that the General Assembly is today holding a session such as this, and for the very first time invited the High Commissioner for Human Rights to brief the Council and update the Council on the current situation. And I feel these are all measures. Nevertheless, my emphasis is the call for immediate and concrete action. I echo the call made by the Secretary General on many occasions. He has consistently urged the international community to act collectively and with one voice, because this is what the United Nations stands for. This is what Syrians and ordinary people all over the world look to. They look to this body to protect them from just these kind of assaults upon their human rights by their own governments.
All right, we do appreciate your time today. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
That is the United Nations High Commissioner Navi Pillay joining us from New York after addressing the United Nations with information that she's uncovered for the last 11 months with suggestions that Syria may be guilty of crimes against humanity with systematic torture, widespread, not just in Homs, children being killed in Syria, more than 5,000 people dead.